Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Wizards Outlook. We got Raymond Lyons here, Wilson Tarpe Jr., and another tough one for the Wizards. For Houston, hey, man, Jalen Green showed out. Season high 37 as the Rockets beat the Wizards 135 to 119. Um, you know, uh, again, big night from Jalen Green. Uh, for the Wizards, it was another one of those things where we saw the opposing team have a big quarter. This time, instead of it being the third quarter, it was the second. Houston puts up 42 in the second quarter, creates a separation. From there, they kind of traded baskets. Although Washington did make a little bit of a run in the third quarter, we saw Jordan Poole kind of get hot. I think he had 13 of his 25 in the third quarter. We saw them close the gap a little bit. The lead was dwindling between like 8 and 10 for a little bit, a couple minutes into the fourth, and then Jalen Green was reinserted back into the game. Washington blows a 3-on-1 break inexplicably, and then Jalen Green knocks down a three, and that was the cushion. The Rockets restored order, and they were able to finish this thing out as the teams traded baskets and whatnot. But Ray, your thoughts on this loss to Houston?
You can't win games when defense is optional. I mean, it's pretty much the long and short of it, man. Like you said, they clawed their way back into it in the third, but it trading baskets is not the way to climb out of a hole. You got to pile stops on top of each other, and yeah, and that's just where it starts and ends. To be perfectly honest, man, I don't care what they do offensively. Everybody can get as hot as they want, but like even during like they had their little spurt, then the Rockets put the fire out, and every time after that, it seemed like the Wizards will score, but then you blink your eyes, and the Rockets have already went back down the court and scored. Yeah, so that's pretty much the story of the second half. Cardell says all the time, if an opponent has a 40-point quarter or close to it, then the Wizards lose. Yeah, that second quarter, 42 points. Then, they came out in the third. They scored 39 in the quarter and gave up 35. So, I mean, yeah, the having potent offense is good, but it's wasted if you're just going to give it right back on the other end. That allowed the Rockets to kind of catch their breath and respond. And then again, once the Wizards get hit, they don't hit back. So once the Rockets survived that spurt, game was pretty much in hand. Like you said, they brought Jalen Green back in, and he put the final nails in the coffin, and they pretty much coasted to the finish line from there.
Yeah, again, I know we've been harping on defense or the lack of it almost all year, but midway, midway through the second half, in the third quarter, both teams shooting over 50%. To that point, to how well Houston was shooting. So they finished the game with the Wizards shooting 49.5% from the floor. That is a very good number from the floor, right? Houston ended up shooting 59. But to let you know where Houston fell to, like they fell to 59% again. To give you an idea, because I wrote this down because it bothered me so. So with 4 minutes left in the third quarter, Houston hit triple digits. All right. They were shooting 66% from the floor with 3 minutes left in the third. And it wasn't because they were shooting great from beyond the arc. This was all inside the line. 66%. To end the third quarter, Houston was shooting 65 from the floor and 65 from the floor, 45 from deep, and 93 from the line. You're not winning a game if that's what the opponent is shooting. I don't care who you're playing. That's absurd. Meanwhile, during that time, Washington was shooting. They were still shooting well over 50% at that point. But the other team's touching, like, you're a couple shots away. You're flirting with 70%. You're not winning a game like that. And again, Houston ended up hitting a couple more threes. I think they hit 4 threes in the fourth quarter. At the end of 3 quarters, they'd only hit 8 threes. So out of everything going on, all that damage was inside the arc. I'm trying to find the points in the paint because all right, here we go. 70 points in the paint. And again, keep in mind what they shot. They fell to 59% shooting. Like they had to fall to shooting under 60% from the floor. That's tough. That's incredibly tough. I don't know what you're supposed to do with that. And again, like I mean, Washington had that moment where Poole got hot in the third quarter, but you know, the hole's deep and you weren't getting stops. They were not able, even when they went on little runs, they just weren't able to sustain them because they couldn't stack multiple stops. It just wasn't happening. But yeah, credit to the young Rockets. They're trying to fight and claw their way into see if they can make a play in. Don't know if they're going to, but that was the 31st win of the year. For the Wizards, it's the 55th loss of the season. Yeah, 55th loss of the season. Yeah, 55th loss of the season. Make sure I just want to make sure I had that right. But if you had nothing to add, I got to ask you player of the game. I think we already know who it is. We mentioned him several times already. So Jalen Green, shout out to him. X Factor.
Whenever this is a crowded category, you know it was a bad game. You know what? I like what Landale brought off the bench, man. You know, I just feel like he was present a lot and imposing. You know, he had 13 points, 5 rebounds, 4 for 5 from the field, but like he was it just seemed like he came in and kind of imposed his will on the game. It's just one play I remember distinctly. I forgot who shot. Somebody shot a 3, and he just like easily cleaned up the mess. And even the broadcast was like, that was probably the easiest offensive rebound to put back all season. And I mean, like, is the Rockets were missing some guys inside, but the Wizards, the cupboard was bare. And the Rockets took full advantage. They destroyed them on the glass. And and I just like what Landale came and offered off the bench tonight.
Yeah, I can't even knock you for Landale. And to keep in mind that the Rockets, all of their like actual bigs are hurt for the most part. Like they had the similar lineup that I think Landale, why he's still a true big, he didn't start. Jabari Smith Jr. started at center. So they were just as small as Washington's been, with Kuz at the 5. So that's about even for the most part. That said, still got beat on the glass 46-32. And Landale only had 5 boards. So the biggest guy on the floor didn't go nuts on the glass. However, I went with Amen Thompson. 20 points, 10 boards, 4 assists, 3 steals. We know what he's asked to provide here in his rookie year: energy, defense, high activity, make sure his motor continues to run hot. 20 and 10 is 20 and 10, man. That's a whole guard. 20 and 10. That's a whole guard. 4 offensive rebounds. 9 of 11 from the floor, plus 24 tonight. Give the young man his credit, man. He had himself a night. So that's where I went with it. I think we have a comment after this one. Hopefully Denny's okay. Like them showing some flash of a mid-range shot. Yeah, we saw Denny leave the game, so hopefully it's nothing too serious. They definitely can't afford to lose anybody else. But your thoughts on Area 11T's comment?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Definitely hope it's nothing serious and cause them to miss time. Well, it was a pretty nasty spill, but yeah, that's health is paramount, man. So yeah, we just wish him a speedy recovery, and just praying that it's nothing too damaging.
For sure. Appreciate you, Larry 11T, for the comment. Let's go about to say they got we talked about what they have this week. Night off tomorrow. Then you're at Chicago. If anybody's been paying attention, DeMar DeRozan's been on one recently. So that's it's gonna be a tough one. And then you got the Celtics, as Ray mentioned, much earlier this week on Sunday at home at Capital One. Yeah, man, we're gonna see how that goes. We'll see you guys in a couple days and back-to-back nights. Y'all have a great one. Thanks for tuning in.